Okay, it's recording. Hopefully, Tony's not going to have any sound issues after what feels like about 4 hours of trying to set this up to record. We've got an episode recording, and I'm hoping for fucking love nor money. God help me that this comes out. Yes, you can see three of us. Yes, it's not Ryan, Tony, and Woody. In the middle there is a guest that we've been waiting a while to get on the podcast and has been waiting himself to get on the podcast. It's Scott. Welcome to Talks with Dorks.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm excited to get into this after attempts of starting the show.
Yeah, Tony, hopefully your audio's all good over there and you can say hello as well.
I can hear you. I can hear everything. This has been fantastic. Good night, everyone.
I won't even bring up the fact that you've completely frozen as soon as you started talking. All right, mate. But you're fine now. Let's just crack on. This is just normal. We're going to crack on with this. You're probably wondering, this Woody, we got rid of him. I've had enough of him. Like, I can't deal with working with family. It's just enough. No, you probably remember in the last episode we brought up that Woody was about to become a dad, and we even said in that episode, I think Tony said it himself, that imagine if the baby comes before this episode was released, and 3 days before the episode was released, Woody became a father.
That's brilliant.
Called it.
You called it. You called it. And the good thing is, I would, if I'm clever enough with this recording, because I'm not Woody, I'm not technical with the skills. I should be able to put up a little picture right now of my brand new great niece. If not, it's going to look really weird. Olivia May, congratulations to Woody and Chantel. Amazing news. And Woody's not even here because of the baby. He's here because he's at work. So, and I won't lie. He actually already said to me, I'm scared I'm losing my place. Bless him.
Well,
The hostile takeover.
And just trying to set up recording tonight has proven why we need Woody. You're not going anywhere, mate. It's taken so long. But we're going to welcome Scott to the podcast. Scott, obviously, I've tried my best while we set up recording to not dive into too many of the stuff we're going to talk about on here, but we've dipped in a little bit. But Tony, one thing you don't know is how me and Scott know each other.
Yes.
Fake taxi.
Interesting.
It's not fake taxi. No.
Okay.
As much as you want it to be, it's not fake taxi. Scott, I'll tell slightly my side of it. You probably remember the beginning more than me because, as sorry as it sounds, I worked abroad for 10 years. I can't remember everyone I met the first time. But in 2017, I was working in Malia Inc. in Malia, selling tattoos to British tourists. And my friend Emma, who was a rep, said to me, I've got a group of lads, as far as I remember, that are from your neck of the woods in my hotel. Obviously, she was a rep, so she had guests, and Scott was one of them. Scott, how did it start for you? I don't know how we met
Yeah,
officially.
I remember walking down the Malia Strip, and I think it was my cousin was on my side, and we saw Malia Inc. And I was like, we should definitely get you a tattoo while we're out here. This was my cousin's first proper holiday as well, and obviously it's a lad's holiday. And then out comes Ryan, obviously doing his promotional stuff. Um, and yeah, we got into the conversation. Obviously, oh, where are you from? Oh yeah, we're from Essex. Ryan was like, oh, me too. And then it got into the conversation of, was it Yates? He was like, oh, do you know a bar called Yates? And we was like, yeah, we go there. And then anyway, that was sort of the conversation there. And I don't think we saw you again on that holiday. That was probably the last time. And then I come back a couple of weeks later. I got a job in Yates, and who walks in? This guy.
Yeah,
Weird.
I'd went there before.
Yeah, but it gets even better because obviously I didn't know that you and Emma knew each other at that point.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you met.
No. So I didn't actually know. And then you walked in, she's next to you. So my mind is like, what is going on? Charlie, my boss, is like, hey, Ryan, how's it going? And I'm like, right, what is going on? Because my boss that I'm working for now, this guy who I met in Malia, who was trying to get a tattoo on my cousin's ass, and my holiday rep are all in the same room and know each other. Like, what is going on? So that is where it started.
And the thing is, Charlie was in Malia as well.
Yes, yeah. And then I learned that, so it was full circle there.
So if Emma come in, that would have been around the time when I did the Halloween DJ set dressed as the Joker because
Yes, that's
she
it.
came down to see me. She dressed up as Saw. So yeah, that's how we met. Was in Malia, and then obviously we end up becoming mates. A bit of a love for wrestling, and we're going to dive into
Yes.
Scott's wrestling side of things a bit later because I want to stick to the early side of it. Me and Tony know each other. I don't know how much of this you've watched. Me and Tony know each other through TikTok. He
Oh,
was
okay.
posting some quite fake taxi related topics, and obviously it's my favourite. And I was involved in it, and I was like, I'm going to do some what they called stitches. Is it stitches? I'm so not cool.
Stitches, yeah.
Stitches, duets, one of the two,
Duets.
yeah.
But snitches get stitches. But now Scott has also been like, obviously, since the beginning of the podcast, when me and Ash first started, selfless plug for Ash on the episode because he's never here anymore and he gets a plug in every episode. Uh,
Ash
Scott,
isn't real people.
yeah, he's
Right.
become a myth again. He's become a myth. And then Ash pops on the screen and starts having technical issues.
That's the only way we know he's real.
Yeah, pretty much. But me and Ash started doing the podcast, and Scott messaged me said, "Oh, I want to do a podcast," and started doing his own podcast on the side. And we were always kind of like releasing episodes like next to each other, weren't we? You were doing
Yeah,
yours, we were doing ours.
I remember those days of podcasting. Now I just feature.
Literally just featuring 3 different podcasts in like a week. You're doing all right.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously, Scott and my story dives deeper because I don't know if you actually read the episode rundown, Tone.
I have indeed. I have indeed. I've done a bit of
Yeah.
homework, yeah.
You've done a bit of homework on
Done
what?
a bit of homework.
On the next bit.
Oh, I hear there's a thing called Broken Fighter.
Right, exactly. Broken Fighter. I'm at work one night, right? And me and Scott obviously have become friends because of Yates and everything like that. I'm at work DJing one night, and Scott texts me going, I'm thinking about writing and directing an independent movie. Do you want to star in it?
That's me.
And the fucked up thing is, like a week beforehand, I had literally said to myself, right, I've got this DJing thing going off and I'm getting money for doing something I enjoy doing. I'd love to get into a bit of acting next. A week later, he texts me out of the blue, do you want to do a fighter? And he's like, have you got any ideas of like something I could write about? And all I said was like, all I could think of is wrestling and mental health. Off Scott went.
Yeah.
Off Scott went and started writing the story. And Scott, it was your baby. I could go on about it forever. Do you want to tell a little bit of
Uh,
story of how Broken Fighter came to be and what it was about, etc.?
I shall. Yeah, it was a crazy time, and it felt like yesterday still, but now you think about it, it was actually quite a while ago. Um, but yeah, I remember reaching out to you. You agreed to doing it, and yeah, I said leave it with me. I'll be back in touch in like a couple of weeks. Let me write a script. I wrote a script. I was spending hours every day kind of putting it together. I got some ideas, inspiration. I changed it probably 2 or 3 times before sending it to you, and I finally packaged it together into something that, yeah, I was really excited for, and I was excited to send it to you because I knew that you would be excited as well. So send it over to you. You reacted really well. I think you literally said, this is fucking gold." um,
It literally was.
yeah, I just remember the feeling once I wrote it, and I was like, right, this is actually happening now. I was nervous, I was scared, but I knew that Ryan, you probably like motivated me the most because you had that hunger for it. And then I just knew that everything to come was going to be a challenge, but we done really well. And obviously we got a cast together. Definitely had a lot of hiccups along the way, locations, actors. Um, yeah, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but we definitely had a few issues there.
Well, the story, what it is, Tone. Obviously, you're a wrestling fan as well. So the story that Scott set out and like giving the basic was is that my character, Jake Richard. He said I was hungry, by the way. He'd asked me to star in a movie that was a wrestling movie. Of course, I was like, let's fucking go. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Come on. When we recorded, Scott. So the story is of Jake Richards. Jake has spent his whole life wanting to be a professional wrestler, and I suppose he would have been like late 20s, so he was getting the opportunity to become a professional wrestler. He's given an opportunity to go for a title, and when he gets to this company to discover that his opponent he's going to be facing is his bully from school, someone that he never
Okay.
got over, and he's now got to deal with this person again. So that's why it's Broken Fire, because he's now in that situation of feeling like a teenager again and getting bullied and picked on by these kids, these guys, and now full-grown men, including the main, obviously, character that he's facing, which is Bobby, who's played by John. And John, honestly, man, Scott, like, what a choice to have John
Ooh.
as Bobby.
Yeah.
One
That.
of the first things we recorded, it wasn't even going to be used because we changed up the guy who was being the promoter, didn't we? It was Craig
Yes.
originally, and then it was Joe was going to be, and you'll see Joe in a clip that I'm going to show you in a second. But one of the first scenes is just after we first met each other, and I was meant to be quite brave with him because is it like, come on, Bobby, da da da, and he out of the blue grabs me and throws me against the wall. But he did it like we were so in time. When he did it, I shit myself, and the fear in my face was pure, like real, because I forgot we were doing this, and he just grabbed me and threw me against the wall, and I was like, I was ready
Uh,
to give him my lunch money, everything.
I remember this very clearly now that you talk about this. I just remember everyone that was in the room was like, "Oh my god, we have discovered something here."
The stories we had on set, like of some of the things we did, like some of the scenes we recorded, like the scene in the pub, where I run into Bobby and his friends, and I was sat
Oh
with my
my
friend. We
god.
recorded it twice with two different scenarios. It was my mate Jamie, who used to work with us at Yates, and another and his missus, and it just, I don't know, the acting just, we weren't happy with how it come out, so we did it with another lad who was one of the wrestling lads from our little wrestling community in Romford. Um, and again, like John just turned it on in this scene. It became this scene, and he did a bit where he's meant to be like telling the guy to go away, and he picked his drink up and just tipped his drink straight over his lap.
That was not
Uh,
scripted. That was
like
not
unscripted,
scripted.
impromptu, and just tipped it over his lap. And all of us, like, we're still recording. I'm sitting there, and I've got the excuse that I can pretend that I'm scared. I'm like this. Fucking hell. He's now got to carry on acting this kid with just a lap full of water. But you could probably tell you've done some recording and like on set stuff, right, Tone?
Yeah. So back in the day, like one of my first proper jobs was started as a runner and worked my way up to assistant of director for adverts and music videos. Yeah, so I've spent some time a little bit in front, but a lot of time behind the camera.
Okay, so you know what I mean, like the feel of that set of being like we were like a completely zero budget movie who's doing it, but where Scott had enough set up to have the lights and like look at you felt like you were on a real movie set.
Yeah,
And like his editing skills, again, remind you, this was his first ever project he decided to do. You're going to see some scenes in a sec, and like first project, you look at it, and I still look at it now. When I was sort of like recording these clips the other day, I was looking at it going, man, this was so good. Like, obviously, inevitably, COVID became the big factor. Not just the fact that we were going to try and need to set up a wrestling show with zero budget for a movie, but COVID put a full stop to it, and I got older and balder.
well, some people just have it all, don't they? Some people have, a head full of hair, wonderful curtains, a big white smile, can start at a company lower level, become COO, do recordings, make films, do all the rest of it. Fucking smooth dick prick. Who wants that guy?
Yeah, and
Fuck
we
that
really
guy.
wanted him on the podcast as well with his ego.
You got me
Um,
instead.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Broken Fighter is probably one of my, like, not regrets, but it's something that it hurts a lot that it never got to be finished and for people to see it. I know that family and friends were seeing things and I was like, this looks incredible. And obviously it's a lot of pressure because I was like, fuck, I can't mess this up now. But everyone knew like the potential that it had, and the story was it's one of those that like the way that I kind of promoted it to Ryan was like it's going to be very much like a Rocky style storyline. It's going to be like the guy that has to build himself up, goes through all the challenges, and then in the end, he's the one that comes out on top. And it was so hard that when COVID hit, obviously everything come to a stop, and we did try and get it going again after, but a few actors had dropped out, which meant, and they were big actors, which meant that obviously we would have to basically restart again. And obviously circumstances changed within a few of our lives that it was hard to get the time to do it. But it, yeah, like that. We had a passion for wrestling. We had a passion for doing this film, and to have seen it portrayed like on a screen or something like that, fully done, would have been really magical. But these things happen, and it's something that I really enjoyed doing, and yes, have a special place in my heart for it.
I'm just going to point this out, right? After now, I now know you feel the same as me, right? I think we should do it. We're going to have to change some things. I don't think I could be a mid-20s wrestler anymore. I can colour my hair, but my hair, I can't do wigs. Like,
Yeah, no
we need to
wigs.
change a few things. I think the passion. Tony's like, he's going to star in it. You've heard Tony's words on set. He's a runner.
Yeah,
We've
there
got
we
a
go.
runner.
We've actually got
There
a
we
runner
go.
now. Yeah, we could get
Woody
him
can
on.
produce. Woody can
Whoa,
There
produce.
we
whoa,
go.
whoa, 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 whoa! I've moved on from running. Didn't you hear? I moved up to assistant of director. Like I'm not I'm past the running days. I'm not getting anyone's coffee. I'm not going to run down the street and get someone a new T-shirt. No, no, no. Put me in the chair next to director.
Oh, he wants it. He's up for it. All right.
There we go. Right, there you go. Woody's producer. Ash can make a cameo. Just to run past the screen. Mate, I think there's still some passion there.
It's
Things
like
would have to.
it's just sitting there in the what is it, the stratosphere,
Right.
just waiting around.
Without further ado, I'm going to show a clip. I've got two clips. One, Tony is a scene. The first scene you're going to see, set it up. It's Scott recorded this from his phone off his computer, so it's not going to be the best quality. The second one is the better quality one. But this is all I had to go
Right.
by. But you'll see the gist of it. The gist of this is basically it's the end of a press conference where Bobby the bully in front of me has just been questioned about whether he's bullying me behind the scenes. So you can
All right.
see. Oh, here we go. Hang on. The screen. Come on, come on, come on. Please work. Tell me you should be able to see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, things are happening.
Things are
Things are
happening.
happening. We've got something going on.
Silent movie.
Oh, don't tell me you can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear a thing.
Ah.
Oh no.
Hang on. I know what I've done. I know what I've
That
done.
brings
All right. Brings back memories without even hearing it. Right. I know what I did. Right. I forgot to press the audio bit. Need to be out. Listen, I'm not Woody, and this is why he should still be here. All right, let's try again. Now you should hear me.
Is that enough for you people?
There we go.
What? Is there anything else you want? Can I go now? Am I still bullying him? Come round there and bully you. Talk to me about bullying. 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 I want to know his sources. I want to know his sources. How did you let this happen? How did you not find out about this in the first place?
I meant to know what question.
Have I got to do everything around here? These people coming in here, bullying, bullying, bullying. It's all I'm hearing is bullying. Like I'm some sort of idiot that has to come out here and bully someone like that. Look at him. Look at me. You get these fools coming in here with their cheap leather jackets sitting there asking me questions. Asking me questions. Who are they to question me? You're supposed to look out for me. You're supposed to have my back. And you're letting shit like this happen.
Come on, bro. They're press. This is what they do.
Is it true? Is it true Jake. What do you think, Gav?
No, not the slow turn.
I never saw that scene because I'd left when you recorded that, so I
Yeah.
didn't see that scene until you sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's so good, such a good turn," because it was just meant to be that he was walking off, and then that sets up the scene where I'm jumped later on, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so
In the alleyway,
you're
which we
actually
recorded.
attacked. Yeah, yeah, and it's such a shame that we don't have this clip of you being attacked in the act. Not because you got attacked, obviously, but it's
I'd
just
love
such a
to see
shame.
that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, because we
Um,
got some really good footage there because we done a nighttime shoot there. It was down the subway in Romford Town Market, wasn't it?
yeah,
And it was so good. Like we got Heather doing a bit of the makeup as well when you was attacked, and the shots were so nice. And if you
Was
put all
the
this together, it would have been nice.
so I just need to know two things. One was the line about Ryan's knockoff Wembley Market leather jacket. Was that a part of the script or was that ad libbed? And then also, who was the tall Joman Reigns looking guy?
that's Man of Steel. I can't remember his real name.
Emil.
Emil, of course it is. It's Emil. He's a wrestler he was for KWA, wrestlers for other companies, known as Man of Steel. But yeah, doesn't he look like
Okay.
Roman Reigns?
Yeah.
Right, Tony, I've just sent you a message. Ignore it because
Okay.
I was actually only going to show 2 clips, but seeing as Scott just mentioned, it's a shame we don't have the clip of the video of the scene in the alley. Again, sent by recording. I've got it.
Look at
So
that.
we can share screen. People that just listen to this now must go, fuck these guys. They're all doing stuff on the screen. You've got to go to YouTube and watch our shit
Yes.
because it's so
Video
much better over
content.
there. Right.
Subscribe, follow,
Okay.
get on it.
Yeah. At Talk Dork Podcast. It's that one. What's that video? Right. Here we go. Can you see it? Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can see, I can hear it.
Oh, I love this scene, Scott.
Oh, I know what that place smells like.
Just piss.
Fucking curb stomping, curb stomping.
Get down there, Jake. Brings back some memories, doesn't it, boy? You down there again, you back, my victim. You're gonna be a big wrestling star, yeah? You're gonna be a big superstar. I'll tell you what, look at the camera, be ready for the flash.
There's meant to be a sound effect added in there.
Yeah.
And this is never, I don't think, other than like people I've shown these clips to, I don't think this has ever been publicly shown, any of this.
No, it hasn't.
I love that. And you laying down in that position is what we saw almost an hour ago when this recording wasn't going right.
I was literally about to full on have a paddy as well. I was all excited about doing this episode with Scott on it, having Tony back, getting Woody, but no, it's just proof we need Woody, and now I'm back. Right, okay. So,
Man.
Joe, you've seen like the drama of the bullying side of it. What would you think? Would you have been invested in watching it?
Yeah, like it's ticking boxes for me. It's local film made independently. I'm all about that. It's about wrestling, another tick box. It's got fucking Ryan in it. Yeah, of course I'll watch some of this. And it's got
Right.
Ryan got 7 colours kicked out of him. Fucking love it.
There's also Ryan had a love interest, and we recorded some cool scenes. But one of the scenes was how we met each other. And again, this was done in 2 versions. Once was in a pub, wasn't it? We did the first
Yeah.
scene in a pub, and the second scene was the one I'm about to show you, which is the proper quality one. So it's going to look the nuts. Is in a comic book shop, and it was through. That's closed now as well. They've closed it down in
No
Romford.
way.
Yeah, they moved
Ah.
sites. They were in down by Primark, and now they've closed it down completely. I think it's because of this film. We never brought it out, so we haven't
Yeah.
gotten the publicity. But we had a girl called Becca, who John, who plays Bobby the Bully, he worked with her, and he knew that she'd done a little bit of acting, and I think she's done some more stuff since then.
Yeah,
From
she's
what I've seen.
actually, I'm pretty sure she had like a very, very small kind of cameo in Bridgerton, I'm pretty sure. Like as a background character, I think.
Didn't she do something with Henry Cavill? Am I right?
I think so, yeah. When I
Yeah.
spoke to her a couple of years back, she mentioned that, and I was like, whoa, you have gone into a different direction.
But has anyone been on Fake Taxi, for fuck's sake?
I told you we're not allowed to mention yes or no on this podcast. I'll send you the link later. It's not hard, is it? It's
Not yet, it ain't, but we'll get there.
yeah. So we got Becca. Becca, and what made it really cool as well was Becca is American. So it added that, as soon as she come and said, it made that feel of like, this does feel like a movie because you got the American person in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And her acting, for someone that had at the time hadn't done much but was trying to do stuff. I'm so happy with it. Right, I won't. I've got to share the screen first. I've just done it. Right, hang on.
Oh.
Here we go
Gotta
again.
share
Entire
screen.
screen. Literally. All right. This is us meeting each other for the first time. So I better go. Okay. Bye.
I have no idea what I'm looking for. I'm supposed to be picking out a gift for a girl at work, and I know she likes comics, but with so much choice, how do you pick one?
Well, Marvel comics are really popular right now, but then your friend could be a DC girl, so probably wouldn't appreciate Marvel comics. Me and my pattern.
Okay.
I don't really.
Thanks for your help.
America. I mean, the accent. You're from America, right?
Nope, not me.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. What's your name?
Richards. Jake Richards.
Well, you're funny, Jake Richard. Have you got a phone?
Yeah.
No, mate, boy jacked it in the subway.
Yeah.
No problem. Thanks for your help, Jake. Hi there.
Hi. Just this way? Okay, lovely. That's £4, that is.
Okay.
Paying by card?
Yes.
Go ahead, got that. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
I look forward to discussing comics with you, Jake.
Yeah, and that's the scene where we first met each other.
Do you know what? There's that scene was really nice, like cinematography, I think, but there's definitely parts that I would obviously change now looking back at it. But there was another scene that we filmed, which I definitely think that I've got somewhere. I'd have to find it, but we went up to London to film the kind of nice scene. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. It was really nice. Like we got some really cool shots because it's of course London. We went to, I want to say Borough Market. We went to, and yeah, it was empty as well because it was shut. So we had like really cool shots, and yeah, it was just really good storytelling. I think in that point.
I've got it on in the recording that you sent me. I've got it, but like, are we going to end up showing the whole movie on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
can
you're-
send it
you're-
and show it.
Sorry,
But-
I had to say about your America line. So it just reminded me of this situation I had in my shop where Kelly Osbourne came into the shop when it was a fancy dress shop in Camden, by the way, and Kelly Osbourne came in with a mate, and it was a bit of a surreal moment for me because like I loved watching the Osbournes, and also like I was a boy coming of age. I had had fun with myself about Kelly Osbourne, and she walked in and then so wanking. That's what I mean, right? So she walked in and I was serving her and talking to her and stuff, and then it just popped into my head. It's like, this is the first famous person you've met that you've had a wank over, And like so my brain just completely fucking fried, and I just looked at her dead in the face and just like, Kelly, and she's like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, and then I just left. I just walked out to the back of the stockroom and let someone else serve her.
At least
So-
you didn't go, Kelly, wank.
Yeah, at least there was that. But yeah, I just imagine it from her side. You know, she's shopping, she's talking to this guy behind the till, he's serving her, everything's just normal, and then he just fucking freezes over, shouts my own name at me, says yeah, and then walks away. Like, what the fuck was that about? Yeah, scrambled brain. I know what Jake was going through.
But the same time, when it's a celebrity, I think like they're probably used to that because people do panic, don't they, in front of them, and when I think of who was it I met? Fuck, Tom Welling, him up there, Smallville. When I met him, I tried being funny, and I think I embarrassed him because we were queuing up at Comic-Con to have pictures done with him and the guy that played his dad, Jonathan Kent. And as I got to the front, the last couple of people in front of me, they'd started talking for some reason about tickling and being ticklish and stuff like that. And as it come to my turn, I walked over, and as I went to put my arms around him for the photo, Tom Welling, as in fucking Superman, goes to me, "Are you ticklish, Ryan?" And as he did it, I went, "Wait, not there, Tom." I was like, "I am, but not there. Whoa, not there, Tom." And he laughed. Jonathan Kent laughed. The whole queue laughed. The people taking like printing the photos laughed, and he's just gone bright red, and he's like just shaking his head. I'm like, "Look around, I'm so sorry," but I was like, I just have this awkward sense of humour, and and as I walked away, I went, "At least I've got a story to say that Superman tickled me bum," and carried on walking. But yeah, do you see what I mean? Like having Becca and having that American accent, it just made it feel like a lot more like a movie because it was the love interest of the story and the stuff that we filmed in London. Like you said, it was Scott just following me and her. And the funny thing is, I was in London yesterday, Scott, and I went down to Covent Garden. Do you remember the argument with the guy in the restaurant?
Oh
'Cause we're
yeah,
filming.
vaguely remember that. Yeah.
We were sat outside. We were literally there was a restaurant and we were sat on the steps outside. And Scott was just going to
Yeah,
film
that's
us
it.
sitting there having a conversation. And this guy comes out, starts having a go at us, like, "Why are you recording? Why are you recording?" I was like, "We're just like it's nothing to do with your restaurant. It's just us." He's recording, and he started kicking off, so we had to move on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There was a few things that come up here and there, but the overall of it was just it was a good time, like good experience. I definitely think there would be something there. It would just mean having to revamp and come up with like a twist of the story, I guess.
We had a twist, and I don't want to say it just in
Yeah,
case. There was a twist at the end of the story that no one knew apart from I know
I think
I
it
knew.
was just me and you. I think it was just us two. Think.
Did your missus even know?
So we had like two like kind of endings, and I'm not sure if she knew the ending that we know about. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think.
Right. Tony's over there like, "Fuck the pair of you," then.
Yeah.
yeah. Screw you, I'm going to write my own film.
It's that thing, but you can see it's that thing where we're both like thinking, hopefully this could come back one day. Like,
Yeah.
we'll be like 70, we're like, "Should we do Break and Fire?" Now he's just old fighter.
Yeah.
He's broken and old, retired fighter.
Jake has come out of retirement to fight.
He's bully.
I
He's finally gonna face his bully.
Yeah. His
don't
bully's
know
just
right
on his
for that
deathbed.
wrestler film. It'd be all right for you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it goes into. Sorry, what was you going to say, Scott?
yeah, I definitely think that. I mean, I would be open to doing something there. It's just, I know that you would for sure. It's just then having to. The one thing I don't want to do is revisit the story, which has a special place, and then I can't get anyone to do it, and then it's just the story's sitting there, and then it's holding on to me. But then
Let's
what's
have a
life
conversation
without
away from
risks?
this. All right, we'll have a conversation away from this.
Yeah,
I mean, there might be a point where I'm now going to be Jake's dad. But
yeah,
at least I'm still
yeah,
involved.
yeah.
I'm still here. But Tony, I think. I mean, do you know what? I keep looking over at the plan, and I get stressed looking at the plan that we have for an episode. And last time we just winged it, and I think it was our funniest episode. we kind of know what we're going to talk about. Fuck the plan, Tony. All right, fuck
All right.
the plan. But you mentioned it earlier that when you first come on that you'd seen Scott on TikTok, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the main reasons we wanted Scott to come on before he gets too famous, and he's on every single podcast out there. He's been on 3 different podcasts already. We're the third, even though we should be his favourite because our
Yes,
own,
of course.
connections.
Well, in
Yeah.
between like all the technical difficulties we've had, and there was a point where you had to sod off Ryan to sort out all this. Me and Scott had a bit of a conversation, and Ryan, we'd like to formally invite you to Tony and Scott's podcast that we're starting next week. It's called. We don't have a name for it yet. I'm not going to lie about that. But yeah, we'd like to have you on, mate, if that's okay. We're going to let Scott deal with all the technical side, so it just works.
I would.
And yeah, and cool, mate. We'd love to have you on.
I'm just
You
going
are
to point this
welcome.
out. I'd love to come on. I'd happily be a guest because if I ain't got to do all this shit, I'm happy. But I'm just going to point this out. What they've completely forgot about the pair of them is poor old Woody, right? Okay, so me and Woody sit together. Fuck you two. You're off the podcast. Fuck off. You're at the firm. You're at the fucking firm. But mate,
Ryan,
listen,
I am the firm.
you are the firm. But I can,
I'm the
Scott.
firm.
What I'm saying is, right. I know a snake when I see one. Tony's over there. He likes a bit of a TikTok. He's got his 40k followers. He knows you're about to blow up on TikTok, mad, because your content is exactly what people are looking for in the wrestling world, and it's great. And he's now he's going to ride your coattails. That's all I'm saying. So,
He's coming
I
for me.
mean, me and Woody are going to go do our own thing. So fuck the pair of yous. On that note, Scott's content. You mentioned the other day when you sent your voice note about um, your content, the idea of it, you come from a guy called Santi Zap, and it made me laugh because Tony watches Santi Zap, Woody watches Santi Zap, I watch Santi Zap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not watched much because he's not been doing as much, has he? Because he keeps getting banned.
Yeah, it's weird because I know that American creators, which you actually mentioned as well, they're obviously at threat with losing TikTok.
Mm.
So I feel like they're phasing themselves out to not just solely rely on TikTok. Obviously, I know that those guys do like YouTube and things like that, but I don't know if they're committing to the TikTok game anymore because of that. But Santi Zap, I think he's kind of been on and off. I actually see a comment on not my video, another creators saying we're here because Santi hasn't uploaded.
I've seen a couple of comments like that, and I don't know. I watched like Santi's app, Tesh, who I found through. They used to do the Straight Shoot podcast where they used to guest the wrestlers and stuff like that. That's where I first
Okay.
found them
Oh yeah,
together.
yeah.
Started watching Santi and Tesh, and then there's Con Man I watch as well. Alan Owens Wrestling is another one. It's just because they all upload different parts of clips as well, like you do as well. So I can watch the whole fucking episode of Raw or SmackDown for all 5 or 6 of you. And
Yeah.
that's what you do, isn't it? You reaction videos. And like
Yeah.
I said, it's so good for you to do it because there isn't a massive British market. I've seen a couple of guys,
Yeah.
but with the threat that America may lose TikTok, people are going to be looking for you, Scott. And mate, what you're doing is great. And like I said to you so many times, your setup looks so fucking good. And you explained it to me earlier how basic it is, like mine. It's the basic, but it's just lighting helps.
Yes, massively. So right now I'm in my kind of full mode setup. So this is what I do for my reaction videos. The difference is obviously I'm more kind of face onto the camera, talking to you guys as a podcast. All I do is I just literally turn that way. I've got my TV next to me here, and then I'm just reacting. Obviously I'm live streaming on Twitch, so then I'm interacting by turning to the side. Normally my partner Heather's to this side of me, so I'm kind of engaging both ways. And then I can get comfortable. I've got enough space to kind of sit back, and if I want to react, like a lot of people said, oh, like your reactions are really cool because you can tell when you really like someone. And someone was like, you've got like very genuine reactions, which it has. Like there's no fake reactions here. Like I'm not doing it for the camera. Obviously it's great because I've got content, but I'm just a very, I don't know, over the top reaction guy, I guess you can say. I mean, before I was doing the content, I was sitting here watching the pay-per-views, and yeah, I was basically just commentating, and my partner Heather, she was like, you should do something with that because you're like a commentator. I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Which led me to doing the setup. like you said, lighting. So, for example, I've got blue lighting right now. LED strips going around the front. I've got like a little kind of lamp thing here that shines across behind me, which is why you can see so much blue here. But it gives a nice shine behind. So then my ring light here just highlights me right there. So it gives a nice crisp look to it. Obviously, I've got the microphone. Right now, I've got headphones. I don't normally wear the headphones, obviously, for my videos, but for like podcasts, I'll just throw them on. But yeah, like if you took away my lights, it'd probably look very bare, I guess. And like I said to you, it's the lighting that definitely helps. And I change it as well. So if I'm watching Raw, it'll go to red. If it's SmackDown, I go blue. And they're sort of the colors I go for. If it's a premium live event, most of the time now I'm going more towards this blue, hence why I've got it on now. It just seems to give off that buzz.
If it's poured gold.
Yeah. Yeah, that one comes on a
no!
lot.
Oh shit! I forgot what I've done now. I don't know. Woo! The gold really comes on like only on for 5 minutes, but at least it's there.
Yeah, 5.
Got a little
Jesus.
bit of problem. But
Yeah.
obviously, just am I pronouncing how you say your username? It's Scott O Club. Is that what you call
Correct.
yourself now? Scott O Club.
Yeah.
Go check him out you're on Instagram, TikTok. You're on X as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch for live streaming every Monday and Friday.
Oh yeah, you stream it as well. I've never watched
Yeah.
the stream. I don't really use Twitch if I'm honest, but I know you do stream it. And next time I should on a Monday come over and watch when I'm watching
Yeah, I
Raw.
mean, I do. So, how I stream, I go through Twitch, which I also stream onto X, and that's where I'm getting a lot of people coming over from is X. My highest kind of views, like live viewers, would probably be around. I think I got up to about 56 recently, which obviously is not big numbers for big content creators, but it's a start, and I really appreciate everyone that does actually tune in. And I've had like quite a few kind of chats going on in between, people interacting, and yeah, it's quite a nice feeling. It gives that little kind of dopamine as well there, where you get viewers and people are commenting, and you're like, oh, people care about me.
Yeah.
Just need to get you to the 1,000 followers on TikTok so you can go
Yes.
live. And like our podcast one is only because I accidentally posted. I don't know if you see it, the video I posted about my son reacting to that woman's story.
Yeah, I see this.
It was meant to go from my personal one, but I sent it from ours, and it was kind of like a happy accident and such because it gave us thousands of followers. Our followers on TikTok are pretty much middle-aged women now, which is like the opposite of
It
what we're going
works.
for. Yeah, but it works. It got us to 1,000 followers, and it meant like also brought a touch of like we can do stuff as well for like if we want to do some legal charities, we could do for autistic charities, etc.
That's
Stuff like
great.
that. So it's got like, but this is what I've been saying to the boys. I've been watching your stuff, and obviously because I know you, and I'm like looking at what you're doing, and every video you get, the likes getting there. Apart from, I think the only videos of yours that are not doing well are ones without clips. Is that
Yep,
right? They're not doing as
correct.
well, but everyone with clips is getting really good views and likes.
Yep.
Your followers have gone up. Like, how long have you been doing it? About a month?
Yeah, so I think I'm probably in about the 7-8 week mark, I think.
Okay.
And I've
Your followers
just
have gone
passed
up.
300 now on TikTok. But I'm trying to do very similar to what the American creators are doing, where they're not trying to solely rely on TikTok, which is hard, and a lot of people are not going that way. Because for me, like TikTok is the best platform to get known. But then if you're going for like longevity of it, I always see as like going over to Instagram and YouTube just to keep it going. Like you guys, you've got like the podcast on YouTube, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, and I think that's like a strong trait that a lot of people miss out on, and they'll go for just TikTok because it is known for quick success as well. If you do it right, obviously, if your content's good, you're going to get that success. If you're not, then unfortunately, you're still just going to fail there. But yeah, I'm trying to spread it. And funny enough, like we were saying about the content that's not doing great on TikTok, those videos over on Instagram seem to be doing decent. Like I had one that I'd done it purely for it was like a very TikTok video. I was very short, asking a question, which I thought this is going to get huge engagement on TikTok. It didn't really pop off at all on TikTok, and I was like, oh, sucks. But then I put it out on Instagram, and that was, I'd say, 3 weeks ago, maybe, and it's still getting comments on now. It's over 300 comments, and I think like thousands of views now. So it just shows that using different platforms triggers different people there.
It brings attention to it all, doesn't it? That's why I'm
Yeah.
always trying. Like, I need to start sharing the wealth with Tony a bit more with the sharing the social media stuff. I think.
Yeah.
I think I might have to get, because that's what I get stressed about. Like when it becomes to putting posts out, is doing it on everything. Make sure I've done everything. Make sure I do
Yeah.
it. I've done it the day before, and do it on everything.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of used to doing like all of that. But I should take advantage of the other two sometimes a little bit. Tony's,
Yeah. I think
Tony.
a good kind of, I guess my like advice, I guess,
Oh,
would
please, we
be,
need it.
yeah, like for me, because it's a lot, right? Content creation is pretty much another job. Like, it's not. There's no shortcuts about it if you're doing it properly. You can't just be like, I'm going to turn up. I'm going to do one video this week. I'll do another one in like a couple of weeks' time, and I'm going to be huge. It just doesn't happen like that. So what I've now done after a few weeks is, you'll see that I have like set hashtags that I'm using on my videos. So on my phone notes, I've got, for when I upload a raw reaction, I'll put raw reaction, then put all the hashtags I'm using for that, SmackDown reaction, and then like just generic content hashtags. So then all I have to do is, when I'm doing the videos, I've got the videos there ready, just go on TikTok, and then we'll literally just copy and paste those hashtags over. So I've not got to write about it, I've not got to think about it. And every now and then I'll just update it and refresh it. I'll look at what people are using and then just swap in and out hashtags that I'm using there.
He said, as long as you're spreading it across the different platforms,
Yeah.
everyone, you're going to get known, and that's the main thing, and that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. Tony does it. You're quite good with Twitter, X, aren't you, Tony, and TikTok.
Yeah,
Instagram,
well,
you're not a fan of.
nah, not so much a fan of Instagram. I do need to pull my socks up and get on that actually. But yeah, Twitter, X, like since like, but yeah, really since Elon's taken it over and made a bunch of changes, and all the content that I get fed, like I feel like it's more of a social experiment than a social network now, and I find it hard to get engagement and the right engagement, and also find what I want to engage with. TikTok, on the other hand, I've had some decent-ish success with, and I do want to continue to grow that and maximize it. But anyone that's done content creation for TikTok will know that what's worked last week or last month just doesn't apply this month or this week at all now. Things change really quickly, and there's no rhyme or reason, there's no pattern. People will talk about, oh, you need this many hashtags, and it has to be concise with each other, and then your video length has to be over 3 minutes. Oh, and now filming it landscape is going to be better off. And then cool, you churn out a load of content like that, and then you hear the next guy saying, short form, try keep it under 20 seconds, portrait mode, no hashtags. Like, and do you know what, out of everything that I've experienced on TikTok, the thing that's worked most after trial and error and sort of A/B testing is consistency, and I think that goes across like all content creation, is being consistent, trying to do 2 to 3 videos a day if possible, at least put something out a day. Engage with people that are commenting. So, if someone leaves a comment and you comment back, that sort of leads them back to the video to get that extra view out of them. And then ultimately, again, with like all content creation, I think there's a bit of potluck. Like there was a week where Steve-O the Madman, Michael Barrymore, and the guy who voiced Yakko Warner from Animaniacs followed me within a week. And that week I saw myself go from 10,000 to over 30,000. And I'd done almost no videos. It's just where, at the time, Michael Barrymore was new to TikTok. So I was one of the first, like, couple of hundred people he followed. And obviously, as a quite a large British celebrity who had all the controversy around him, there was a big interest. So people were looking at him and going, "Oh, well, he's following these people. They must be worth something, I guess." And Steve-O the Madman, he was only following 20 people at the time when he followed me, and he's got possibly millions across all of his social platforms. So again, that's quite a big impact to be I'm one of his only 20 people that he'll follow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That made him a huge difference to my following and what have you.
Right, just checking. Any more names you want to drop before we? I never knew that. That's how you got your. I've always been meaning to ask how you got that big. Because obviously, by the time I started watching your stuff, you were at 40K. So that's what I mean. It just, like you say, it can come out of nowhere, can't it? On there, like videos I've done. That Power Rangers one that I did nearly 2 years ago when Jason David Frank died. I'd been making videos of lip syncing scenes from movies, and it was taking me nearly an hour to do it because I was changing how I looked and all that. 100 views. I did a video that I just went off on one about some guys on a podcast. Took 55 seconds to record, and it blew my phone up.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy how it works, and we, especially people my age, I see people my age go like fucking content creators. They don't fucking put any effort or time in, but none of us can argue that. Like, just trying to do it is like fucking time consuming to make it look good as well and be worthy and edited and done right. With all of this, it's got to be done.
And that's the thing, you've hit the nail on the head as well. You could spend time doing it and it receives dick. And then, it really puts you down as like, oh, all that effort for nothing. I think it looked fantastic and whatever. Then you can put out, I'm not saying that this your rant video was this, but you could just put out a piece of thoughtless dog shit. And for some reason, a keyword that you've put in the description or something just blows it up and off it goes. And it just, like, what my biggest video, like, it's from a show that I didn't even really watch. And I was like, I don't know how many fans like this show really had. Boom, over 1 million views on it. Some other videos where I'm like, this is such a gem that no one's thought of since 1992. Flat as arseholes. And it's like, man, really?
Yeah. It can really like lead you in with content creation. I think it just depends how you're gonna go into it and take it. If you're gonna go in again and think that, like what you said, if you're going to try all these little techniques and using different hashtags, and like another like kind of scam is posting times. Like people are like, yeah, if you post at this time, you're going to get more views. Like, it doesn't matter because I've tried loads of different times. Last week I posted at 11 p.m. It just like blew up. And then this week I was like, well, obviously that's the time. Done it again, nothing. It's like, oh, okay, then well that's pointless. But it's just how you want to take it. Like for me, coming into this content game, I'm going to look at the longevity of it. Like, I'm not just going to be here like trying to get a quick little win that's going to get me like millions of views and then just like a shoot of followers and then that's it. I'm just going to sit back.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see where I can take it, and I'm not doing it. I've got a job. Like, I've got a job. I get paid decent money. But I just enjoyed doing this, and it'll be good for other people to see it. Like me doing the reactions. Like people find it funny, some of my reactions. Some people just like how passionate I am, and that's what connects. Like the human connection is the thing that overpowers everything there.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely merit to that. Where look at two of the biggest in the world, like Mr. Beast and Logan Paul.
Yeah,
Mr. Beast, like for his first like maybe 100 or a few hundred videos, he was getting not even 50 views. He was just doing it just because he liked it. And, I suppose once that like that dopamine hit comes when you're starting to get those followers and starting to get those likes, and of course, like, I'm going to spend more time and invest in this now. But you got to do it because you enjoy it. Like whether it's the subject or whether it's just the hobby side of it, do it because you like it. I think people that go out and set out like, going to do this, going to, really like, I'm going to be a sensation by the end of the year. You might get a flash in the pan minute, but there's no way. You've got to have that, like you say, that longevity and have that investment and long-term want for what you're doing, not for the result.
Yeah.
And it might get deep and philosophical about all kind of walks of life in terms of work, but yeah, do it because you like it,
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say, and the thing is, sometimes like I said, the content comes out of nowhere. Look at our last episode, Tony. What I thought was the most strangest conversation to have on an episode. I don't know if you see it, Scott, but Tony started talking about the weather on Talk to Dorks because he'd had a disagreement with a guy at work called Monty, and it's now become a thing that we're about to go into a segment called Monty's Facts.
Mm. So yeah, Monty. Quick backstory for you, Scott. Basically, Monty, a guy I work with, nice chap, lovely guy. We got into a debate about like the percentages of rain on your weather app, saying like, like, oh, if it says 35%, it's gonna mean it's 35% of the area is covered. No, it's 35% chance of rain. Anyway, go back and watch the episode. Yeah. So with that, I've decided that we're gonna have like, I don't know, what should we call it? Monty's Facts, Monty's Moments.
Okay.
And yeah, anytime he kind of comes up with a brain fart and speaks to me about it in the office, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on this podcast to talk about it.
Have you got one to talk about?
I've got one to talk about. I'm gonna ham it up for you right now.
I was going to say, because I've got the comment on YouTube. Cool, go for it, Tony. I'm glad you've got it.
So, Scott,
Okay.
I'm going to ask you because Ryan already knows the results to this. Say you went to Tesco and you bought a pack of ham. Let's say it's premium Tesco ham. Well, how many slices of ham do you reckon it would take to cover the whole of the UK?
Oh, damn.
Don't worry about it. Monty's worked it out for you.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to have to read this because there's no way I'm going to get this off the top of my head. So the average slice of square cut processed ham, according to his working out, is 10.5 centimetres squared. Size of the UK. He's not sure about elevations and dips of valleys and hills and mountains and buildings and the rest of it. Is 209,331 kilometres squared. So he's done a bunch of maths. I can send you a screenshot, or maybe we'll put the screenshot of his working out on the podcast here for the visual viewers. It would take approximately 199,362,857,143 slices of ham to cover the UK. He wants to do a sort of like a proper deep dive mathematical working out, but yeah, at a rough working, close to 200 billion slices of ham to cover the UK. And that is on a mild weather day, because if it's too hot, the ham might dry out and shrink, obviously. So, controlled environment, nice mild weather. Just in case you needed to know, if it comes up in a pub quiz, you will now thank me for knowing that it is 199,362,857,143 slices of ham to cover the UK.
They say controversy creates They say controversy creates cash, right?
Easy for you to say.
Let's piss off every vegan out there and go, listen, we're going to plan to do this. And so we're going to need a lot of pigs. I've got a nephew who's a pig farmer. We're sorted. So we're going to post this as a video, a clip on TikTok this very moment, put it out there with the vegans coming after us. But we'll get followers and hopefully get some content out of it. Why not?
Right, and do you know what? I'm going to try and put this in some form of context as well, right? So I'm this weekend I'm going to go buy a couple of packs of ham, in fact, and I'm going to lay them out on my driveway and just show you what fucking 12 pieces of ham looks like compared to the rest of the UK, and just now see if that helps quantify how many slices. But like, if you look out your window and just look across the street and just think, if you lined up ham to get to across the street, how many hams is that going to be? I'm saying ham a hell of a lot right now.
That's a lot of ham.
A lot of ham.
And the best thing is, I've got a fact about ham, and it's nothing to do. It's relevant for this thing because we're talking about ham. I was once sat round it, right, with a group of my mates. We're having a couple of beers in my bedroom, having a chat. And for some reason, as you do as lads, we got to the topic about wanking. Yeah, we're talking about having a wank. And as we're talking about this, wanking, ever been caught, you know what I mean, sort of thing. My mate, and I nearly said his name, he will kill me, so I'm not going to say his name. My mate turned around and goes, well, we've all done it with a bit of ham. Everyone went silent. What? He went, wrapped it with a bit of ham and bashed one out.
Damn.
No, I fucking haven't, and I don't think I ever would either. What? And he's like, look at this, like, we're stupid. We're like, nah, mate, like, nah. And the best thing is, right, he genuinely looked upset that we hadn't. He's like, what about the in-betweeners he does in there? I'm like, yeah, that's a movie, geese. Like, if my
Right,
hand
so
ain't good enough.
on an unrelated note, that ham experiment I'm going to do on the weekend somehow only comes in packs of 23. Okay, there's not one missing. All right.
I did want to bring it up, but it was Tony, and it was the only time he's ever been around the house. Do you know what we did as well? Funny thing is, next time we all went out, we went to an American restaurant, and we had a chat with the waiters, and they brought him a plate of ham over. He's called the Hamburglar now.
So just on the back of that wanking story, right? It's just thrown out a memory from like young teenage days as well. So obviously, when you're of that age, I guess like wanking, talking, like getting head and all the rest of it is quite common talk because it's what it's the only things that we're doing. So I had a mate who he said he would he's not gay, and I don't think he's ever had any sort of steer that way. But he said he would be the best head giver in the world because he knows exactly how head should feel. And I was like, all right, yeah, I guess there's some logic in that, right?
Did you test him?
I didn't. We were so. This conversation was taking place after we went to a fish and chip shop. He had a Savoy, and he's like, "Watch, I can give massive head to this Savoy." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So he started deep throating this Savoy, gagged, and he just puked up all the chips he had eaten so far. It's like, yeah, probably not the best head giver in the game, are you? Yeah. That's just that random memory.
Yeah, and I was going to let you try on me after that if you proved you well. Nah, I'll find someone else. It's all good. Which, to be honest, I know we were going to go into the school stories afterwards to see if we had any more because last time we went on a rant about school stories, Scott, and it ended up being quite fun. But I remembered another story and I was dying to tell it about school. So I don't know if either of you got any. It doesn't matter if you haven't. I was just thinking about one. You know where on the last day of school, there's always a prank or someone does something. Did you guys have that? Where on the last day of school there was something that the year 11s would do every year. It was something. Well, we had the standard. You're going to egg the teachers, right? We had to egg the teachers, and loads of people would say they were going to do it. And there was one lad at school. I won't give his full name, but his name was Lee, and he was a bit of a I don't know, he was a bit of a tearaway. One of those lads that was probably good at school, but didn't give a fuck about school, and was a bit of a naughty lad. Wasn't even in on the last day, but turned up at the gate at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them, fuck down, let's go, I ain't going anymore, I'm leaving, but turns up to do the egging. Right, and we're all stood outside the school. There's loads of people with eggs. We all stood there, and all of a sudden, up head of year, Mr. Allcroft, who was a bit of a dickhead, but the right kind of dickhead. He told you off for the right, you hated him because he was right all the fucking time. We're like, listen, stop being a prick. Fucking grow up and sort yourself out. And they're all right, sir. He comes walking out and he's buttoning up his jacket. And they're all like, sir, you know what's going to happen if you come out here? He's like, listen, 5 years I've had you lot as my. He goes, I knew this day was coming. I'm fully prepared to take it. And that moment, this kid Lee looks at him and goes, do you know what, sir? I've got too much respect for you. The fact that you've come out here and ready to take the eggs, I don't think I could do it. And the fact that you're actually a decent bloke. He went, but him over there, he turns around, launches this fucking egg with pinpoint fucking precise precision. This egg comes straight on this teacher who wasn't even facing us, was facing the other way's bald spot, straight on the fucking back of his head.
Shot.
And us and every single and our head of year all bolted, ran off because it just hit him perfectly. It's like the most no more egging needed to happen because it was so fucking perfect. And the funny thing about that story is, guess who it was, Tony, that got egged?
Mr. O'Leary?
No, not your teacher. It was Mr. Stevenson. It was my teacher.
Mr. Villa.
Mr. Villa. Yeah, I've had quite a few.
You say Mr. O'Leary there. What school did you go to?
Oh God, you're his fucking nephew or some shit, isn't you?
No.
No. Compton.
Oh no, yeah. Was he Scottish by any chance?
No, he wasn't. He was.
Oh,
He,
okay.
he sounded from like East End. Big,
Oh,
tall fucker, bald, massive hoop earring as well. Just because no one's going to tell him any different.
damn. Yeah,
And
we had a
yeah,
teacher like Mr. O'Leary, and he got abused quite a lot by many students. But I do have
yeah,
quite an interesting school story. It was on a school trip though, so does that still count? Are
Yeah.
we still
yeah.
taking that? Okay. So I'm in year 6, whatever age that is now. We go on a trip to Bournemouth. Now I'm sharing a room with uh, three of my old school friends. Anyway, one night we've come back from a day out. We got these little torch things, like handheld ones. So this was the point when you couldn't go to other people's rooms, and I had a girlfriend at the time. I was like, okay, I'll go to her room. Snuck out. Anyway, I'm gone. I come back. I open the door. The lights are out. It's pitch black. I flick the lights on, and I get jumped, taken down. My friends turn the light off. I genuinely thought that I was getting kidnapped at this point, and they're holding me down. And I'm like, "What is going on?" And they're like, "Shush, be quiet." I'm like, "What is going on?" And then they say, "Look up." So I look over the beds, and there's lights all looking in, and I see that there are police all on the rooftops looking into our window with what looks like guns and flashlights. So anyway, I look over at this. I look to the left, and my friend's sitting there in his boxers, pretending he's got like a shotgun. And my other friend, the reason the police got there was because he was dangling out the window trying to flash in our friend's room down below, while in his boxers, dangling down out the window. There was an old people's home across the road that called the police because they thought that someone was breaking into this hotel room. It was just my friend in his
Fucking
boxers
hell.
dangling down. And anyway, so we shut the curtains just a little bit so we can still see. In comes bursting in one of our old school teachers, Mr. Smith. He was like 80 at the time. He comes bursting in, lights on. He's like, "Right, boys, get into bed. None of this noise now. You're causing a disturbance." And we're like, "No, like, don't turn the lights off." He's like, "Yeah, don't worry." And he shuts the curtains. He's like, "Go to bed now." Anyway, he walks out, and we hear our like head teacher talking to people, which we obviously knew was the police. So they're coming up. We're like, "What do we do?" So we all just pretend we're asleep. The police open the door, and my bed was right next to the door. So that they've opened the door, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on there?" One of those like proper, yeah, I don't know what's happened here. And yeah, it was an eventful night.
Yeah,
But
man.
turns out that everything was all good. The police didn't press any charges, I guess.
Can we go back to the fact that your mate was sat there pretending he had a shotgun? Like,
Yeah.
surprised he didn't get fucking killed.
Yeah, so was I.
Like, taking it.
Bearing in mind we're in year 6. What age is that now? What
Year
like
11, it's like 11, isn't it?
10,
yeah, it's got
11,
10
yeah.
and 11.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what's happened here. For all I know, I'm already in trouble because I'm sneaking out the room. I come in and then just jumped, and my friend's just sitting there as if he's got a shotgun in his boxers. But yeah,
Not a
eventful
shotgun
story.
in his boxes. He was dressed in his boxes, right?
Dressed in
Yeah,
his
yeah.
He
boxers.
just had a massive cock. Like, it shows how young you were. You're at the age where you thought pretending you've got a shotgun wouldn't get you in trouble, but
Yeah.
quite
Wild
good.
times.
Well timed. Fucking hell. Like, you can tell. What school did you go to, Scott?
So that was Clockhouse Primary School. And then, yeah, obviously my secondary school, I went to Bower Park.
Oh, okay, yeah, Romford, right.
Yeah, it gets a bit of a bad name.
Oh, wow. Could tell that could tell what the areas we went to school in. Fucking North London, Dagenham and Romford. Yeah. Most of people are like, that's the sort of schools you go to?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That's
Yeah,
fucking dangerous.
you can imagine like an American listening, me telling that story, and it was like, "You only had a shotgun?"
I was going to say, like, if that story would have happened in America, someone died.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
100%.
We've just lost all our American listeners. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys, but like you do it to yourselves, to be honest.
Well, yeah, and you know they can't even keep hold of TikTok, so fuck them.
And Tony, have you got any small school stories?
Tons, tons. But I'm not going to top having the fucking police sniping you at all.
Should we leave that the top story to our special guest for the week? Shall we? The top story goes to him.
Hey,
Yes, mate. Yeah,
winner.
you take this week's school winning story.
Thank you.
And I mean, last thing to really go into before the last thing, because we've done it a bit out of order, and I've seemed to have introduced everything. I'm sorry, Tone. I was just
You're
like
right.
segue into everything. This is a geek podcast, and we have talked some dorky stuff like social media, but we've not actually talked any proper geeky shit. Have any of you done anything? Watched anything cool, new? Tony, I didn't watch any episodes of X-Men today, like I said I would. I was busy setting up, and it still didn't work.
Yeah. Well, I did finish X-Men '97 yesterday, and fucking brilliant show, mate. I think you don't know, like we spoke about earlier. Anyone that's not seen it or doesn't want to watch it because they didn't watch the original X-Men cartoons, scrap that idea. You can watch this as a standalone series. It is proper sick. Like it's got an edge of like adult scene to it as well. So there's a bit more violence than you would have got in the cartoons, a bit more language. The story is really deep, and very, very excited for season 2, which has been announced. Not its release date, but it has been announced that there will be a season 2. And thank God for that, because I am already jonesing for it, and I've only stopped watching it yesterday.
Damn, I've still not watched that.
I tried to the other day, but I end up doing other stuff. That's what always happens to me. Still haven't had a chance to watch it, but I promise, Tony. I did actually start Baby Reindeer, but I fucked up with Baby Reindeer massively, right? So someone must have been watching Baby Reindeer on my Netflix profile. So I put it on and I watched the entirety of this episode, and I got to the end, and then it come up like starting episode 5, and I was like, what the fuck or something. So do you know, have you seen it, Scott? Have you seen Baby Reindeer?
No, I've not watched it.
So my first episode that I watched was the episode with the ginger guy, where it's up like basically
in the flat.
Yeah, in the flat, basically nonced off by like a director who looks a lot like a guy Kyle I work with, and he's gonna hate me for saying that because I sent him a picture, Gav, and all I got back was fuck off, because he'd been away to Magaluf when it come out, and like 3 people stopped him while they were away. Do you know you look like the guy from Baby Reindeer? It's like, it's not okay to be looked like a guy that's basically a Peter Pile nonce. But that was the first episode I watched.
And we got to almost all the way through this episode without mentioning the nonce word, and here we are, full blown noncery once again.
We have to mention Ash. We have to mention nonsense, not in that order, not together.
I've actually just finished watching not Nonce Story, no, Monkey Story, but it's to do with Planet of the Apes.
What, the new film?
I've not watched the new one. Don't worry, I've not watched it, but I realised that I had not seen number 2 or 3. So I watched the first one. So we're not talking about like the old school ones. We're talking about like the rebooted ones.
The James Franco one you've seen then?
Yeah, so I saw that one, and then I saw the trailer for that, and I was like, I feel like
a lot's happened.
I've missed a lot there. And then turns out there was 2 movies in between there. So I rewatched the first one, watched the second, then the third one, and fuck, what a movie franchise, honestly.
It is. It's easily my favourite movie franchise for sure. Except, I should know this better if it is my favourite, but there's either 2 or 3. It's alarmingly carbon copy of Lion King. So you've got the evil uncle who kills the king, and then tells the king's son, "This was all on you," and then their big fucking den gets set on fire, much like Pride Rock does towards the end. And then son comes back as the prodigal renegade son, overthrows the evil uncle, becomes king.
That is 3, isn't it?
That's number 2. That is.
Oh, number 2 is it? Yeah. Wow, I'd never thought of it like that, but it's true. And So you've not seen the fourth one, so I've not seen it. But what stresses me out about it is I was never a Planet of the Apes fan until during lockdown, and I was working with my brother-in-law, and he kept going on. You've got to watch these films, these newer ones especially. And I know
Mhm.
I fell in love with them, and he went to see it with my sister. Like the night it come out a week or two ago, and my brother-in-law, I've seen him watch some of the worst movies in the world and go, "That was the bollocks." That was. He does it. He's more into like he can, as long as it's got good action or whatever, he could just get behind a bad film. Do you know what I mean? One of
Mhm.
those. And I text my sister going, how was the film? She was like, shit. I was like, well, she's never really been into them. So yeah. I went, I bet Tell loved it. She went, no, he thought it was shit. And then I texted him, was like, did you really think it was shit? He was like, I if I could have walked out 20 minutes into it, I would have done. I was like, don't say that. I'm like, you're the sort of person that I would never think you'd say that about a film, especially one of these. You'd love it. And he went, no, didn't enjoy it at all. And he went, watch it yourself.
Wow.
I did not enjoy the film. I didn't like the way what they did, and I was like, "Oh no,
Oh,
I'm gonna hold back
no,
now. I'm gonna
no.
look at other reviews. I don't know how it's doing, like review wise and stuff, but
Yeah, I've not seen anything yet.
what the
See, I'm
audience
I'm
is saying.
steering clear completely of that. I've not watched a trailer, not watched an advert. The most I've seen of it is the billboards like on the side of buses and at the minute, and like I've not seen anything. I don't want to. The closest I've had to reviews was two mates that have seen it and said, "I can't wait to talk to you about it," and I have no idea whether that's a good or a
That could
positive,
be
like, a
two
bad or a good
ways.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
Both know it's my favourite franchise, so they might be waiting to hear, "Oh my god, that was a fucking car crash." I'm hoping it's not, but now you said that, Ryan.
That's what I'm saying. It's just I said I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to go to the cinemas because I'll be really pissed off if I see it in cinemas and it's bad.
Yeah.
I'll wait for it to come on home release and then I'll watch it and wait for then because then I'll be a lot calmer, I think, with my response. If I'm like, I've paid this much money sitting in this,
Yeah,
I've taken a night off from the kids, and I don't get often, unless I'm working or doing recording a podcast. Obviously, but one film I went to see last night, which will be last week by the time this comes out, but I got to see Mad Max Furiosa.
Oh,
So it doesn't come out till Friday, but I've got a special media screening of it. Went last night, took my stepson Brad. We went for a full day in London, went to see a few sites, went around Big Ben and all that in the pissing rain. Probably could have went a bit later than we did because there was like about an hour and a half of time where we were just sort of like don't know what to do because all the cool stuff you used to do inside in London is gone. Like the Trocadero is gone.
hmm
Like all the cool stuff in London, the amusements down by Embankment gone. So unless you're paying an arm and a leg,
Oh, the Sega World place.
couldn't find unless I've fucking misplaced it. I couldn't fucking find it.
Yeah, the Namco, wasn't it? It was by London Dungeons by the Eye.
I couldn't find the entrance to it. There's a Paddington thing there where I thought the entrance was.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
think you're
and
right.
then I
Actually,
went.
last time I went, I think it was a Shrek thing, a Shrek
There's a
exhibition. I
Shrek
think
thing
you're right
there
Shrek.
as
now.
well.
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
Shrek thing there as well. So I'm like, I ain't paying for Shrek. I ain't paying for Paddington, and I ain't paying for fucking London Dungeons. I
But
went
then
to
also
go.
you couldn't go down Oxford Street or fucking any Regent Street or down to Marble Arch, and you can pay £7.50 for a pack of like Wonka gobstoppers because it's American candy. So you've got all that going on.
They're everywhere. We went into about 30 American candy stores, and they were all different prices. One bottle of Prime in one was 20 quid. It was £18 in the other one. It was, and then Brad went, "Can I have a Mr. Bree?" And he knows because I am tight when it comes to money. But I am a nightmare because I hate unnecessary spending, and he's a nightmare for I want this, I want that.
What's all that on your shelves there?
That's necessary. I'm a geek, and that's my own money. That's not me spending my money on other people. That's my money. I get to do what I want with it. But he went, "I can have one of these Mr. Beast bars," and we bought one of these Mr. Beast bars at a garage once, and it was £2. It was like that. I was like,
Yeah.
"All right," and this was a tiny one. So it was only like one block of the chocolate, and I was like, "It'd be a couple of quid. It's all right." And the bars were like £12.99. It'd only be a couple of quid. This literal chocolate like it was £4 for one block of this chocolate. Like, oh.
That's ridiculous.
But then when I went to
Um,
see MJ the musical, I went to get a vape, one of these vapes. I paid £12.99 for it. I thought I don't mind paying 20 quid in London. Do you know what I mean? They were 60 fucking pound in London.
What?
£60. I went, I'll have two of them. He went, £60 each. I went, did you say 16? He went, no, 60. I went, you're telling me for two of them it's 120? I was like, fuck that. Fuck off.
What? How have
fucking
they
hell,
come
this is
to that
Thatcher's Britain.
conclusion there?
But But we went to see Mad Max Furiosa, and
Yeah.
I'd been into it. I'd never seen any of the original Mad Max. I tried watching Fury Road the other night, but again, one of them things. I ended up setting this up. I was doing stuff on my computer. Again, didn't work because I still had all the technical issues. I was writing the stuff out for this, and I didn't end up watching the film. So I was like, look, I'll quite happily not watch this film. But we got there. So not only do we go to the media screening, there's a red carpet where we can have a picture in front of it. So that's cool. Brad's loving it. He's 15. Do you know what I mean? And like, this is the first time he's got to see a film before it's due out. We go in, we get whatever seat we want. It's a massive screen because it's IMAX. There's a free bar down at the front, in front of the screen. There's free alcohol, free soft drinks. Obviously, I know I've got to drive later, so I'm not drinking. But I took me and Brad a couple of drinks away, like soft drinks. Got that free popcorn. And then we're sitting there, the film's about to start, and Jonathan fucking Ross comes walking up the stairs to go and sit a couple of rows behind us. No, I'm cutting Brad. It's Jonathan Ross. It's Jonathan Ross. He went, who? Jonathan Ross. I'm like,
Oh.
quickly Google it. Google it. I'll show him a picture. He went, oh, that's not him. That's not him. I'm telling you, that is Jonathan fucking Ross. That I know what he looks like. And all of a sudden, Jonathan Ross says, like, turns around and says, he turns round so Brad can see his face clearly and says something like, should we sit over there? Brad goes, it might be him. It might be him. So the film starts, and then we're sitting. I'm like, "This is a great." Brad's like, "This is for Brad. This is epic." Do you know what I mean? Like, there's celebrities here, there's radio presenters all over the place. Epic. I'm like, "Look, I could probably easily fall asleep during this film because I'm not really bothered." And I did for the first 15 minutes. I dozed off. And Brad
First
was like,
15 minutes.
the first 15 minutes, I was just like, I was so tired because of all this walking around London. I just went, oh, fuck it, I'll just sleep the whole film away. But Brad kept nudging me, like, stop falling asleep. I'm on my own. I don't want to be on my own. But I woke up and fucking loved this film. And I now want to watch all of them. It is so good. Chris Hemsworth is really good, bad guy in this film. Really good. He's hilarious. There's a little bit confusion of the story, but again, this is a prequel, which is why I'm kind of glad I saw this one first, because it doesn't matter that I haven't seen the others because it's a prequel to them. So it still should make sense if I watch them. But Chris Hemsworth, best part of the movie, that the only thing I point out is he's got a fake nose in it, so he's got a big nose. And there is a couple of scenes where the sun's shining and you can see through his nose.
No way.
Nice.
They could probably do better. This is Warner Brothers. They could probably do better with it. But if you're a Mad Max fan or you've never seen them, that is a good entry point because it's a great fucking movie. And Mad Max isn't it? It's not actually about Mad Max. It's about the character Furiosa. So it's really good. Really, really good.
Interesting. Yeah, I was thinking of trying to watch that because I've never seen the films either. And yeah, as I know, it's like a prequel there. So if you're saying it's good, I'm going to trust your word there.
It is really fucking good. Brad loved it. I loved it. And he weren't really bothered about it either. He was just the experience for him. But we both said, like, what a fucking good film. Really fucking good film. I wish I hadn't missed the first 15 minutes now, to be honest.
You'll never know until it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tony, I mean, it's gone 12 o'clock. Your probably missus is probably hating us right now. So we should probably get towards the end. What do you think?
What do I think? I think it's. I think this has been a lovely night. Technical issues aside, I think we've had a decent enough conversation. It's been very natural. It's been very flowing. I've enjoyed myself. It's been quite therapeutic. It's been funny, and I'll do this again. I'll do this again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Scott, have you enjoyed yourself?
I have. Again, technical issues aside, it's been fun. It's been real good.
Since we actually started recording this bit, it's been quite good. I mean, I'm not going to lie, both of you have frozen a couple of times, but I'm hoping the way this records, because it's recording your end. This is why I said you can't go anywhere once we stop recording until that says uploading, because it's recording from your end. So touch wood, it's all perfect. So the reason Tony put it like that, Scott, is that when I sent you the rundown of the episode, I missed a bit off of there. That was topic 6.
Ooh.
And we called it the big question. The big question, and the tagline was for it: have we got what it takes to answer the big question? I know you're a bit of a podcast superstar now, and you've got all these other podcasts lined up, but something we've been running past while we've been watching your growth over there on TikTok is me saying to the guys, I think Scott would be a real good part of the team. And the question we wanted to ask was if you're happy to come back on again, and you don't have to be as involved as and doing it as often as we are because you've got other things going on, but would you like to join the Talks with Dorks team?
Ooh.
We can stop recording now if you
Ooh.
want to say no. It's like,
Oh no.
but we'd like to officially.
Let me.
Basically, it means put you in the WhatsApp group, and then when we're recording, if you're free, you can always go, lads, I'm ready to join you, and come on and do more.
I was gonna do like a really nerdy kind of wrestling response there, so there will be no judgment when I do this. But yeah.
Yeah.
Then officially, Scott, welcome to the team. You're gonna. We've been wanting to do this for ages. I've been saying to the boys, listen, watch his stuff, watch it. We need to get him on. Then when you put up, you were doing that podcast, I was like, we need to do it now before every fucking podcast wants him to join the team. All right, and then you did another one. I'm like, oh my god, this is stressing me out. But doesn't mean you can't do other podcasts. It just means now you've got to promote ours while you're on it.
Hey, all right then. I knew there was a catch here.
Yeah, it's all about you got to always remember the team. Like, you know what I mean? Logan Paul didn't get anywhere without his team, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll have to have a like a t-shirt or a hat, I think, made for me, so when I'm on my streams, I can big it up.
Funny
T-shirts,
enough,
that's an idea.
funny enough, that's what we've been discussing this week, isn't it?
Oh, there we go. Look at
Yeah,
that. Little
yeah.
segue.
I'm the t-shirt guy. I'll sort that out for you.
There you go.
Right. I know it's getting late, so let's start wrapping things up. We'll end this so we can we can talk the technical side of it. We'll put him in the WhatsApp group. This is Talks with Dorks. If you haven't already, subscribe here on YouTube if you're listening on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, whatever you're listening on, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel. We're on TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram at Talk Dork Podcast. I'm at the DJ Ryan S on social media. You can find me on that. Scott, what's yours? Give us yours. Our special guest. And
At Scott O Club on all platforms. You can follow me there and join in the conversation.
Tony, what's yours, Mr. 40K?
Mr. 40K is Tony of Bingus the 90s, which is on TikTok, Tony of Bingus on Twitter X, and also I'm on a podcast called Talks for Dorks, which you know because you're here. So here I am.
That reminds me, when we come off it, I need to ask you why you've changed your TikTok name, but that's a conversation for afterwards, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Talk with Dogs, I'm Ryan. That's Scott, our newest member of the team, and special guest for tonight. That's Tony. Boys, any final words?
Oh.
No. Bunch of
need
yogurt chewers.
Need the cricket sound effects there.
I'll put it on. I could do it. I'm sure, but I'm like Woody. I could do it. Have you got any final words though?
I do. Thank you for having me on the podcast. This has been fun. You know that I've been wanting to be on here for a while now, and we are here reunited again. Make sure you follow and subscribe to my new team, Talks with Dorks.
There we go.
Yeah.
See you later.
You're a dork.
I hate dorks.
Great Scott.
I know, this is heavy.